specific point. So a couple weeks ago, we talked about parallel and perpendicular lines in relationship to like the y-axis and the x-axis, and now we're going to look at specific points. So we know that parallel equations have equivalent or the same slopes. Perpendicular equations have opposite reciprocal slopes. And we said for that one, we use the phrase flip and switch. Okay, looking at the problems. Example 1, write the equation of a line that is parallel to the x-axis and passes through the point 4, 3. So if it's parallel to the x-axis, we know that's going to be a horizontal line. So here's this review of what we've already done. And we know that all horizontal lines have the equation y equals. So if we have the equation y equals, and it has to pass through the point 4, 3, 4 is the x, 3 is the y. So that means y has to equal 3. That would give the equation that is a horizontal line, so parallel to the x-axis, and passes through the point 4, 3. Next up, we have write the equation of a line that is perpendicular to the y-axis and passes through the point -3, -9. So if it's perpendicular to the y-axis, that means it's going to be another horizontal line. So we know, again, it'll be y equals. And then if it has to go through the point -3, -9, this would be the x. This would be the y. So y equals -9 would be the equation for the line that is perpendicular to the y-axis and passes through the point -3, -9. So now specifically for this part of the unit or this section, we're going to be not looking at the x and y axis anymore. We're going to be looking at the points. So here we go. Example number 1. Write the equation of a line that passes through the point -2, 7 and is parallel to the line y equals -4x plus 1. So the biggest thing is that we have to remember those rules when it comes to parallel lines and perpendicular lines. Parallel, that's the same slope. So if it is parallel to the line y equals -4x plus 1, I know that my slope is -4. That's the coefficient in front of x. That's the m spot of the equation, so that's the slope. And if it's parallel, we have the same slope, so I know that the new slope is also -4. So if we're thinking about the parallel equation, sorry, my camera is a little fuzzy. There we go. If we're thinking about the parallel equation, we know it for sure is going to start off with y equals -4x, and then we don't know what the y-intercept is yet, so we're going to find it. A couple different ways you could do this. We can use the point slope form. We can use the slope intercept form. Let's go ahead. We have a point and we have the slope. Let's use point slope form. So we're going to be looking at the equation y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. This is going to be the x1. This is going to be the y1. And then obviously our slope is the -4. I'll substitute in y minus 7 equals, my slope is -4 times x minus a -2. And I put parentheses around it just to double check, make sure I know that's minus a negative. So we are thinking that is going to become a positive is what we have to think about. Y minus 7 equals, like I just said, this is going to become a positive. So I'll distribute the -4, and that gives me -4x minus 8. -4 times +2 gives me -8. I'll add 7 to both sides, and I will end with y equals -4x, -8 plus 7 would give me -1. So up here, to fill in, finish up the equation, I'm going to put -1 at the end there. Example number 2. Example number 2 says write the equation of a line that passes through 4, 3 and is perpendicular to the line y equals 2x minus 4. Perpendicular, what does that tell us? Well, if we go back up here, we know perpendicular equations have opposite reciprocal slopes, so we have to flip and switch it. So if we are starting off with a slope of 2, that's like saying 2 over 1. If we flip and switch it, flip and switch, flip the fraction, change the sign or switch the sign, we are going to have a new slope of negative 1/2. Starting off the equation, y equals negative 1/2 x, and then we're going to fill it in. So on the last one, we used the point slope form. This time I'm going to actually use that slope intercept equation because I have all the information that, and I can plug it in and I can actually find what b is going to be. So my y value is 3 from right here equals my slope is negative 1/2 and my x is 4. And I don't know b, so I'm going to put plus b at the end. Negative 1/2 times 4, that's going to give me negative 2 plus b. I will add 2 to both sides, and that's going to give me 5 equals b. So if 5 is my y-intercept, I'll put it right up here. It's a positive, so I'll put plus 5. So the biggest thing on these types of problems is you have to pay attention to the parallel, you have to pay attention to the rules for perpendicular, and then of course substituting into the correct spots. Okay. Right back here. Write the equation of a line that passes through the point 3, negative 1 and is parallel to the line x minus 3y equals 9. Well, parallel is telling us same slope, but take a look. This is not solved for y. This is in standard form. So I'm going to have to solve for y. I'm going to have to solve for y. So I will subtract x from both sides. And that will give me negative 3y equals negative x plus 9. Next up, I'm going to divide by negative 3. That's a cross out mark. Ignore this. I'm going to divide by negative 3. And when I divide by negative 3, I do have to do that to every single thing in the fraction. That will leave me with y equals a negative and a negative make a positive, 1/3 x. 9 divided by negative 3 is negative 3. So now we just did all this math work just to solve for y. So don't get confused. This is not your final question or equation. This is not your final equation. You still have to answer the question. So the original slope is 1/3. We just discovered that by doing that math work. The new slope, if it's parallel, is also 1/3 because they're equivalent. They're the same. If the slope is 1/3 and it has to pass through the point 3, negative 1, again, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1, or you can use the slope intercept. Either one of those equations will get you to your final answer. Y minus a negative 1 equals 1/3 times x minus 3. I substituted in the negative 1 here, substituted in the 3 there, substituted in the slope here. That becomes y plus 1 equals, distribute, and then 1/3 times negative 3 is negative 1. Subtract 1 from both sides, and I end with y equals 1/3 x minus 2. So that equation, 1/3 x minus 2. Okay, last example. Write the equation of a line that passes through the point -5, 1, and is perpendicular to the line 5x plus 3y. Fix my camera. Sorry about that. Okay. There we go. So, perpendicular, again, opposite reciprocal, but we have to solve for y. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to write that here, 5x plus 3y equals -21. I will subtract 5x from both sides. Those are not like terms, so you do not combine them together. That's going to give us 3y equals -5x minus 21. Divide everything by 3. And that will give us y equals -5/3 x minus 7. So this is our original. This is our original. So our original slope is -5/3, which means once we flip and switch it, we're going to switch the sign, we're going to flip the fraction, it becomes +3/5. So 3/5 is going to be our new slope. Go ahead, either use point slope form or slope intercept form. Y minus 1 equals +3/5 times x minus a -5. Right here, this becomes a positive. Y minus 1 equals 3/5 times x plus 5. Y minus 1 equals, go ahead and distribute, 3/5 x. And then 3 times 5 is 15, divided by 5 is 3, so that will be +3. Show you that one more time. 3 times 5 is 3 times 5 is 15, divided by 5 is 3. Add 1 to both sides. Y equals 3/5 x plus 4. And that's your answer.